Somebody to rough you up, somebody to make it tough, somebody to bait you.
They are the only undefeated team in the competition. And today, the New South Wales Swifts play host to their old foes, the Adelaide Thunderbirds. In round 2, it was the Swifts that took the honours. But now, it's rematch time, with the superstars on show and matchups to remember. Down one end, it's the Swifts sharpshooter Catherine Cox fronting up against the Thunderbirds backbone, Jiva Mentor. In the middle, it's the Swifts driving force, Kimberly Green, testing her talents against the Thunderbirds captain, Natalie Von Berto. Then, it's the battle of the prize recruits, the Swifts defensive enforcer, Sonia McCloma, taking on the Thunderbirds shooting genius, Carla Borrego. The halfway mark of the competition has passed. Who will stand up and be counted? It's the Swifts and the Thunderbirds, ready for one classic encounter.
Good afternoon and a very happy Mother's Day to my mum and every mum around Australia. And that there is Liz Ellis's mum, Margaret. She's with Sonia McCloma and Catherine Cox. Nice touch, the girls walking out on the court with their mums, or if they haven't got their mum available, they just hire Liz's mum for the afternoon, which is a fantastic result. Hello to Liz, you're the biggest name in the history of the sport of netball. We're very excited. It's round 8. The New South Wales Swifts are undefeated and they've got the Adelaide Thunderbirds, so a very good matchup today, Liz.
It's a huge matchup. Last week we watched the Swifts take on the Melbourne Vixens. We thought there was going to be fireworks in that game. Vixens a little bit un-Vixens-like. I reckon today is where we're going to get the fireworks from both of these teams. Plenty at stake today, should be a cracker.
Kimberly Green is in absolutely amazing form. She's one of our favourites every time that she joins us. Kim, congratulations on your start to the year.
Thank you. You know, we've had quite a good start and a little bit surprising to us, but we're going to run with it.
Kimberly, we're going to have a look at your team lineup. You guys have started to gel particularly well. You're starting at centre today. At the start of the season, you were playing a little bit of wing attack. What do you prefer?
I don't really mind as long as I'm on court, I guess. Centre I'm a little bit more natural. Wing attack, I think a bit too much. So I do like the centre a little bit more.
And you're happy to reacquaint yourself with your old mate Vanessa Ware in that midcourt?
Yeah, Nessie's always good to play with.
Now, your direct opponent today would be Nat Von Berto. She's in stellar form at the moment. What's your game plan to play against the Diamonds vice-captain?
Well, obviously she's a benchmark for any Aussie player, you know, wanting to hit that centre court position. So just trying to, you know, keep her off the circle and make sure she's working hard and hopefully, you know, throw a few turnovers in the meantime.
Kim, hard question to answer, but last year you only won 2 games. It was a bit of a disaster for you. You're undefeated now. What is the main difference? Can you give us one thing that's improved this year?
I think our confidence, Luke. It's just one of those things, you know, if you build it quite, you know, early in the year, it's a great thing to have, but we started to lose our confidence throughout the year last year, and that really hurt us.
Good luck this afternoon. Appreciate you joining us.
Thank you.
Kimberly Green, one of the stars of Australian netball, and she's got a massive matchup today against Natalie Von Berto. There's great matchups everywhere. Round 8, the New South Wales Swifts taking on the Adelaide Thunderbirds. First centre pass, not too far away.
The layup. I reckon we need to see more. Back to Beveridge.
Great delivery. Beveridge took a huge risk there. What a touch by Carla Borrego.
Beveridge has got all of her confidence back.
Starting to combine a little more smoothly. The Adelaide shooting circle, they've now won their last 4 games in a row. The Thunderbirds Liz, talk us through the starting lineup for Adelaide.
Look, no real surprises here. This is a lineup that took a little while to get itself together. Now that it has, they're coming off the bye. They're starting to look incredibly dangerous. Borrego and Beveridge in particular are going to be the players the Thunderbirds are aligned to provide a little bit different to what they did last time they met the Swifts when they lost by 7 goals. A couple of differences through that midcourt. Erin Bell coming in at wing attack and Shani Layton coming in at wing defence. That would just change things up. I would expect a vastly different performance from today's Thunderbirds than the Swifts saw in round 2.
Definitely a lot more settled, the Adelaide lineup. But one of the great features of the ANZ Championship is the fact that it is the best players in the world, not only from Australia and New Zealand, Liz, but also the best international players. Jiva Mentor is an out-and-out star of the competition, and she is an English international, has played a number of test matches for them. We went and had a look at what she gets up to outside of the game of netball in this week's ANZ Away from the Game feature story.
Hi, I'm Jiva Mentor, and it's been an ambition of mine to be a firefighter. So I'm here at Adelaide Airport to learn the ways of the aviation rescue and fire service. Hi, I'm Jiva.
Hi, I'm Jane. I'm one of the firefighters here at Adelaide Airport. I'm going to show you around the station and see what we do every day. Let's go. So we'll just have a quick look around the truck if you like. So in the lockers here, basically all of our equipment that we carry.
Oh, don't mess. I like Adelaide. It's a really easy city to live in and get around in. And it seems to have taken to me well. So I'm really looking forward to this year and hopefully a few more years here.
Yeah, this locker is basically where we've got all our hoses.
How much water would you hold on board?
We carry over 8,000 litres of water.
Should be enough to put out a fire?
Most definitely will. We hope so.
Obviously the heat is a big difference between Australia and England, but the lifestyle is definitely more outdoorsy. And I'm normally right down by the beach, a proper seagirl, so I like to be out on the water, whether it's sailing or kayaking. So this is an unusual mode of transport to see at the airport.
Very much so. We're within 1k of the ocean, the end of the airport, so we basically have a boat in case something happens. The planes come in, going out.
So how long would it take you to get to the water from here?
It takes us less than 13 minutes to get out there.
It's pretty quick.
Yeah.
Oh, it was gutting, absolutely gutting to lose the grand final, to get that far and through such a tough season. Yeah, it definitely cut deep, and I think that just made me even more determined to come back this year and finish what was unfinished business. I may have ankle swingers, but at least I'm matching. I was in the cold not too long ago, and it's 31 outside here, and I'm in this. A little bit hot.
Yeah, getting warm. So we've got you in Station Officer Bird's uniform there, so can't do much about that name, but we have got a little thing to fix it up for you guys. There you go.
Brilliant. Thanks. I really enjoy company off the court, and I think that really shows when we get on the court, because we've got the same outlook on life and just get down to it, mean business, but also have some fun as well.
Right, so here we are in the cabin. What we're going to get you to do is do a monitor op for us. So basically, this is your joystick that controls your monitor above you.
Wow, so many buttons in here. I wouldn't know where to start though, but I think that's the main one.
And so you just hold your finger on the trigger. There you go, and let go. There you go. Whoa, that's cool.
So what drill are they doing here?
This is going to be a category exercise, so we're going to use all 3 vehicles to come in and put the fire out basically.
Well, today's been absolutely fantastic, so I can definitely seal the deal, and I'd love to pursue a career in the firefighting service. Wow, that's pretty immense.
All right.
Yeah, spectacle. That was awesome to watch.
Jeff Skew, Station Manager.
Thank you.
On behalf of Air Services Australia, there's a memento for you. Hope you've enjoyed your visit and got appreciation of what we do here.
Definitely.
Okay,
When
thank
can I
you.
sign up?
Very nice story, that one indeed, Liz. I think she'd make a welcome addition to the Adelaide Fire Brigade.
I absolutely think she would, and she's playing against one of the hottest players in the league today, so she might need one of those hoses.
Big day for the Adelaide Fireys when Jiva Mentor turned up. I think they certainly enjoyed themselves, and we're going to enjoy this game. As you said, a big match-up for Jiva Mentor, and big match-ups right across the court. We'll be back with the first centre pass very shortly.
In your cup.
Welcome back to Sunday afternoon netball here in Sydney. An absolute beauty coming up. The New South Wales Swifts are undefeated. And the girls on screen there, the Adelaide Thunderbirds, Liz, have won their last 4. Very, very even game, this one.
Certainly is. One of the best games we've seen in this competition was round 2, 2008, where the Adelaide Thunderbirds got home by 1 goal. Since then, the Swifts have really turned their fortunes around. This year, they got up against them in round 2 this year by 7 goals. Adelaide Thunderbirds are improving, though. For mine, they are the team to watch this afternoon.
On our coverage here on Channel 10 and 1, we have the biggest names in the sport. Liz Ellis, of course, and Ali Broadbent is a star of the game as well. She's our courtside reporter this afternoon. Good afternoon, Ali.
Afternoon, guys. Yeah, the Swifts had a very polished performance last week against the Vixens. Kath Cox in particular stood out and had a very fine game. Diva Mentor from the Thunderbirds will have her work cut out today for her. And the Thunderbirds, on the other hand, have settled finally on a top 7. They've started to build some really nice combinations. They need to play a controlled game in attack, especially through the midcourt, to stop the Swifts today. Should be an absolute awesome game. The sportsbet.com.au odds show the Swifts as favourites, paying $1.60. The Thunderbirds paying $2.35.
Thank you, Ali. And even maybe a little bit closer than that, they are favourites. They deserve to be favourites, the New South Wales Swifts, given the fact they haven't lost a game. Mind you, they only won 2 last year. And you think, Liz, the Adelaide Thunderbirds, they just need a really big win away from home, having won their last 4. They had the bye last week. So a win like this might just relaunch them right up the top of the ladder.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the Thunderbirds come off the bye. Last week we saw the Swifts come out of the bye and they looked brilliant against the Melbourne Vixens. Thunderbirds were given a full week off in their first week after the bye, so they should be nice and rested and ready to run it in. It was interesting during the week, Jane Woodlands-Thompson, Thunderbird coach, was quoted as saying the Swifts goalers are peerless when they're on, and they're up today against the most miserly defence in the league in Jiva Mentor and Monia Gerard, who, after a bit of a shaky start this year, are really starting to be solid, or more than solid, really impressive for the Thunderbirds. Jane Woodlands-Thompson has said that her team, in order to improve on that 7-goal loss from the Swifts in round 2, they need to improve on their timing. They've got to do a lot more work defensively through the middle of the court, and in attack, the defenders have to bring the ball down to the goalers. So the Thunderbirds really concentrating this week on their attacking workload.
Onto the court now comes Catherine Cox, coming off an unbelievable performance on Sunday afternoon netball last week. They beat the Vixens by 14 goals. Catherine Cox was able to shoot 29 from 31 and was unloading them from everywhere, couldn't miss. In fact, the whole side, you go through, they hardly made a mistake last week, Liz.
Really interesting. In particular, you look at their midcourt. Kim Green last week had only 2 turnovers for the game. Vanessa Ware just the 1 turnover. So through that midcourt, those girls are handling the ball an incredible amount of times, yet they just don't cough it up. The Thunderbirds are going to have to force the Swifts into errors today if they're going to get their hands on the pill.
Great matchups everywhere across the court. What particular part you think is going to be the most important? I suppose you go down to the defensive end, and as you said, the big job's to try and stop Borrego for McClymont. At the other end, it's going to be Mentor versus Catherine Cox. What's going to be the most important part of this game, Liz?
Luke, I'd actually want to look past those big blockbuster matchups that we've been talking about and look at the matchup between Erin Bell and Kim Smith. We talk about Kim Smith being a bit of an unsung hero for the Swifts. Erin Bell is playing some lovely netball, but still learning her craft as a wing attack. She's responsible for a number of turnovers, so the Swifts will target that area, and it's up to Kimberly Smith to do that.
Good start from Erin Bell. She got the first centre pass received. She delivered a nice one, but Borrego was caught off balance and fell out of court. Erin pass there from Rebecca Bully. She just goes back and says to Kim Green, sorry about that one. So a couple of turnovers.
Parallel pass, a dangerous one, particularly against a team like the Thunderbirds.
And the penalty will go against Bully, and fortunately for Borrego, because she'd fumbled and it was out of court.
Borrego was wearing a fair bit of body there. Draws the penalty. Obvious what the Thunderbirds' game plan is. Get the ball, throw it high and long.
They had the bye last week, but round 6 against the West Coast Fever, Borrego was 42 from 46. She's certainly someone to watch. If you haven't seen her in action before, she's a powerful athlete.
Goal defence.
Hold penalty goes against Leighton. Well read by Mentor. It was a little dish-off pass looking for Catherine Cox. She was able to get it out of court.
Yeah, unusual then for Pratley. That's well within her shooting range. I would have expected her to go to the post. No doubt that Cox will. I think potentially anywhere within that goal 30s within Kath Cox's shooting range, so she will always go the post.
Continues her great form from last week, 1 from 1 now. We mentioned they are very evenly matched, these two sides. McCloma played that superbly. Little backhander.
Yeah, she moved her feet around, got an outside hand to the ball, keeps the whistle out of the contest.
And that pass coming across from Vanessa Ware just had a fair bit too much on it.
Interesting, the Swifts don't cough up a lot of ball, but already in this quarter, they've turned it over twice, so that's an unusual start for the Swifts.
Fairly nervous start for both sides here. Another long ball in, looking for Leighton that she wasn't able to take.
Well, I think you'd have to argue on recent forms that these are the two top Australian teams. The Thunderbirds only marginally behind. Vixens have struggled in the last couple of weeks, so no surprise that there's a fair bit of nerves out there. There's a lot at stake today.
Prattley's first opportunity, and she doesn't make any mistake as well. They combined for 92% accuracy last week. Two New South Wales Swift shooters. They do that again today. You can't see them getting beat. In fact, they do that every week. They may go through the whole year undefeated. Kimberly Green working overtime for the pass, and well taken from Cox. Had to hurry the pass, but she was good enough, hurried the shot, but good enough to get the rebound.
Yeah, well done, Kath Cox. Nice and strong in the air. Excellent challenge from Jiva Mentor, but the placement of that ball got it over the defender's head.
First goal to the Thunderbirds, the next 3 to the Swifts. So this play becomes important very early in this game, and well played by Bully, but just penalty there, Liz.
A little too close. Obstruction call. Just watch the push and shove between Borrego and McCloma. Not a lot going to be left out on the court today.
At the edge.
Many people athletically match up well with Borrego. McCloma is one of them, and that will be great to watch right across this match this afternoon. So it was an important goal to get back there for the Thunderbirds.
Keep a hold.
Well, we talked about the push and shove at one end. There's going to be plenty of push and shove at this end between Cox and Mentor. Cox so strong in a hold, and Mentor so strong in the work around the body.
Very confident in her shooting, Catherine Cox, so she should be.
Vantage ring
Nice work. A bit of a slow start to the year. That I understand why, given the fact that she wasn't really able to train for much of the pre-season.
She had surgery and had a bone taken out of her foot, so it took a little while just to get her court smarts back and then to have the fitness to be able to put the shots up accurately. She looks to have found that. There's plenty of movement for the Swifts out in front of the goal circle as well.
Plenty of movement in the goal circle on that occasion from Cox, and Mentor again just a little overzealous. That's as easy as you like.
Vantage contact on defence. Vantage hold centre.
Clean hands from Gomberto, but Erin Bell can take that pass cleanly.
Contact wing defence.
Leighton giving away the penalty there. I really like what Shani Leighton's doing in that wing defence position. She's not used to playing there. She's a tall player, gives away plenty of... Well, she towers over Vanessa Ware, but she's really effective. You can just see there on the hands over, got the tip on the ball. She comes up with a lot of possession.
Well played on that occasion. We just saw it's a couple of turnovers apiece. And now Beveridge, just a little hesitation there. Trying to work it through, and Beveridge yet to put up a shot. This will be her first opportunity. And astray, but Borrego missed it.
Comes up with the rebound though. That was a bit of a basketball shot then from Borrego. She rushed it. Gets a chance now to get a balance and sink the shot.
Cross over to Ali Broadbent, our courtside expert. Ali, have you seen both defences so far in this match?
Yeah, well, look, it's been a frantic start from both sides. That was a beautiful intercept by Jiva Mentor just then. Both teams are trying to force playing a strong one-on-one defence, and they're really trying to force that high ball in for the pick-off by the goalkeepers and defenders in the back in the circles. It's really good defensive effort at the moment by both teams.
And as you spoke, how was this big play from Mentor? Came flying through, and Ali Broadbent all over it. Good take. Swift movement down the court. Borrego scored all 5 goals for Thunderbirds, so they'll be keen to get Beveridge involved a little more. Although working pretty well as it is at the moment, though.
It certainly is. It looks like Kate Beveridge is prepared to do a lot of work out the front of Borrego. She's going to have to keep doing that, keep that high work rate up. Well done, Monia Gerard. This dangerous period here for the Swifts. The Thunderbirds are just starting to get a few tips in their hands over the ball work, coming up with possession.
Scored the last 3. They've got possession now. Bell falls over and lucky not to get a part of her body inside the circle and be offside. A nervous start from Kate Beveridge. 2 misses. She was good in round 6, probably her best game, 15 of 22. But season average 68 as Thunderbirds comes up with a big play. And a couple of turnovers in a row. She just needs a settling goal here, Kate Beveridge. Really important shot this for her confidence.
She drains it. Yeah, she looked a lot more comfortable than that longer shot earlier. Just didn't quite have that look on her face that said, I'm going to sink this one. And a beautiful play then from Nat Thunderbirds. She's so good for the Thunderbirds, does a ton of work in attack, but defensively she's always lurking, looking for the little intercept.
A 4-goal run here that the Thunderbirds have put on. But possession and easy opportunity for Borrego, which she makes. She's now 7 from 7. Great start from that girl on screen.
Better ball movement there from the Swifts. Vanessa Ware enjoying the feeding position at the top of the circle. It opens up her options for her, and the best option was straight in front of her to Pratley.
Birdo goes back to Leighton. Noticing Liz, a lot of centre passes going defensively. We just had a penalty off the ball here that I think against... In fact, I'm not sure at all who that was against, but it's going the way of New South Wales Swifts. I thought it was against Thunderbirds, but...
No, it's against Kate Beveridge. So Rebecca Bully resisting the temptation to sit back and double up on Borrego. She's content to let McCloma do that and just get out and do the work on the front against Beveridge. Now, from my way of thinking, that's a clever way to start.
Direction penalty against Mentor. Miss from Cox. Good rebound from Pratley.
Yeah, excellent rebound from Pratley. Had to use her body to protect the ball. Yeah, you can see Kate Beveridge there pushing off Rebecca Bully.
Cox wanting to go back. Beveridge got a hand in, but couldn't be kept in play from Thunderbirds.
Yeah, good work there from Beveridge. A lot of goal attacks will often sit back and just let the defensive or their opposition player stand at the transverse line.
Again, Mentor's just picked it off. Read it superbly. Borrego comes outside the circle. Good take from Beveridge.
Yeah, and great work, Kate Beveridge. Was up on the transverse line defending. Got down nice and quick there for the shot at goal. Well done, Thunderbirds. That was sparked by some good defensive work across the transverse, and Mentor read it beautifully.
Good movement as well. This was commenting on before, Liz. I'm noticing both sides going backwards on the centre pass is something that you plan pre-game. Oh, brilliant play from Beveridge. Athletically and cleverly tapped it back to Borrego.
Yeah, smart stuff. Beveridge just had a wits about it. Look, I just think for the Thunderbirds, both Beveridge and Bell still learning their craft at the wing attack, goal attack position. It's smart to go back, particularly to someone like Gerard, who is a great attacker through the mid-court. The Swifts will do the same through Rebecca Bully.
Gets great access throughout our coverage to speak to the coaches within the game. Julie Fitzgerald been good enough to join us again. Julie, how are you feeling about the way your side started today?
A little bit nervous at the moment, Luke. I think we're throwing far too much ball cross-court and allowing Thunderbirds to come onto it.
Julie, what was the feeling like in the camp after last week, after the win against the Vixens? Was it hard to get the girls to sort of turn their minds around and think about today?
No, to be honest, Liz, I think obviously we were very pleased, but it was a measured sort of pleasure as well. We know we've got an awful lot ahead of us and we're not even halfway through yet.
Julie, how high do you rate Carla Borrego? She's 9 from 9. It appears very hard to stop.
Anyone who can shoot that number of goals and the volume, and it's so easy to get her the ball, she's a big threat.
Thanks, Julie. Let you get back to concentrating the job at hand. And penalty, big crowd here, sold-out crowd on Mother's Day, and they're right behind the undefeated New South Wales Swifts, and their coach, Julie Fitzgerald, is always very giving of her time, and she's doing an unbelievable job at the moment. There's the penalty count. These Adelaide 12, Swift 6, an important goal back there for Kath Cox.
It just feels like the umpires are just getting to this game as well at the moment, blowing up a lot of the contest.
Centre third.
Just to make sure the players keep things clean.
Centre third.
Swift so not giving away as many penalties.
Centre third.
Probably as a result of the Thunderbirds really working a nice one-on-one style of defence. See everywhere the Swifts players are sort of struggling to find space. It's disrupting their flow.
Green just had to hold her ground and then took it, looking for Prattley, and just some defensive pressure, just forcing a few unforced errors.
It certainly is. And it's that defensive pressure making the Swifts players run to where they don't want to run, putting their timing off that's doing the job. But the Swifts are replying. Through Rebecca Bully and Kim Smith are starting to deny space to the Thunderbirds playmakers.
Sure, you can force an unforced error. But what I meant to say was there is some pressure and some mistakes are resulting. Now Prattley, who is in very, very good shooting form. Season average 84%, coming off a 90% effort last week. They're back to within a goal.
I reckon these two teams played one of the best games of the season last year, and they look to be providing that this year. In this particular match, it's really high intensity, particularly given that it's the first quarter.
Great response from the Swifts. They've scored the last 3 goals. Just a little bit of pressure back now on this pass, and it's not a great one from Bell. Rebecca Bully had her name written all over it as soon as it left Bell's hands.
Yeah, it's a beautiful read. It's great to see defenders prepared to read the game and back themselves, get out of the circle, scare the life out of the centre court.
So the intercepts are at 3-3 in this game.
Just watch Bully here, reads it all over Nat Bomberto and comes up with the penalty.
So now 4-goal run for the Swifts, and Kath Cox opportunity to make it 5. She makes no mistake.
Yeah, well done, Vanessa Ware. She had Jiva Mentor thinking about running at it. That created the space behind Mentor. Caught the ball, delivered it beautifully.
Big final minute and 8 seconds left in the first quarter. Really need to deliver on this shot from Beveridge. Fairway back, long arcing shot, which is her style. She makes it. 3 from 4. Still plenty of time for a couple of scores with 50 seconds left. Prattley hasn't missed yet.
There's a nice settled shot from Prattley. Just had a rhythm beautifully.
A direct pass there from Natalie Bomberto. Got it back now to Bell. Borrego's just...
There's so much pressure from both teams defensively around the top of the circles. Neither Erin Bell's wing attack for the Thunderbirds or Vanessa Ware's wing attack for the Swifts have been able to hustle their way to the top of the circle very much. It's excellent play from both wing defenders.
So we tick down to 15 seconds. Kim Green has to go back, and Leighton came through, looking to come up with a miracle intercept. The crowd well aware of the time. Yep. So will the Swifts, and they've been very patient and smart. Didn't rush it, didn't make a mistake. Prattley gets the goal on the quarter-time whistle.
Yeah, look, a lot of teams really practice through to that time. So when you've got the clock ticking down, just making sure you remain calm. The Swifts have done that. Lovely start from the Thunderbirds. They've pressured the Swifts into a lot of early mistakes. The Swifts turnover rate sitting at 6 at the moment compared to, 3 compared to the Thunderbirds 6. Both teams have settled those, sets us up for a great second quarter.
Quarter time, the New South Wales Swifts lead 15-13.
By the side that we can't go from one side all the way across the other, so make sure the leads are there. Even if it means a couple of extra passes down the court, we don't mind as long as
Some instructions there from Julie Fitzgerald. Welcome back to Sydney's Olympic Park precinct. Quarter time, the Swifts are 15, Thunderbirds are 13.
Yeah, and some pretty impressive shooting statistics. Both teams reasonably even through the defensive stats with intercepts at 3 apiece. Just take a look down at the turnovers. The Swifts are on 3. Now, they don't turn over a lot of ball, And they turned over those 3 in the first 5 minutes, so some nerves there. Thunderbirds have coughed the ball up 6 times, really in the last couple of minutes of the quarter. The most expensive player for the Thunderbirds in that stat is Erin Bell. She does give the ball away a bit, but she handles the ball a lot. So that's where the Thunderbirds will look to just cut down on that stat.
Go for a quick look at the shot chart for the New South Wales Swifts. They shot the house down last week and they started well again today.
Yeah, it's just interesting that just in front of the circle, in front of the ring there is a bit devoid, and that's because Mentor and Gerard put so much pressure on. We'll take a look at Susan Prattley. She's doing a wealth of work and accurate from the outside edge of the circle, which is what you want in your goal attack. She's got to be prepared to turn and shoot, and she's doing it beautifully for the Swifts at the moment.
Swifts are undefeated. The Thunderbirds have won their last 4. First quarter didn't let us down. Possession now, start the second half. Umberto fell over. Side of the lob pass to Borrego was on.
Oh, well done, Rebecca Bully. Just forced the fumble. Just the amount of work she does out the front of Sonia McCloma often allows McCloma to get the intercepts with Bully getting her hands on the ball then.
Good clean movement here from the Swifts, able to affect the turnover, work it down through the court. We're going to get straight across to Ali Broadbent. Ali can't detect any changes at quarter time.
Yeah, look, no changes at all, but I was listening to Jane Wilson-Thompson talk to her girls. She was basically really pleased with how Borrego was taking the ball and turning and shooting. She wanted Kate Beveridge not to run around, I suppose, try and do too much outside and concentrate on getting in the circle. She also asked the girls to continue to put their hands up, pressure over the ball, because she really thought that was having effect with Mentor picking up some intercepts in the back line.
Thanks, Ali. The New South Wales Swifts have now scored 9 of the last 11 goals in this match to lead by 4. And we're into a danger period here for the Adelaide side. If they keep throwing it away like that, it'll be a bit of a blowout. Erin Bell has had a few issues, Liz, been turning it over a little too frequently.
She certainly has. It's just a matter of finding that feed into Borrego. She's sometimes a difficult player to feed, just making sure you can get the ball up and over the defender's head, particularly when she's playing against a defender as tall as McCloma. She probably needs to start to look just to get to the top of the circle a little bit. That's what the most effective area to feed from.
Penalty goes against Mentor. Doesn't matter because Prattley's good enough anyway.
This is a danger period for the Thunderbirds. They need to effect a turnover. They need a couple of settling goals. They can't let the Swifts get out to too much of a break here. This is their chance.
Desperately need to convert this. You have to be patient. It's the defensive pressure again, and that pass just a little too much on it for Mentor, so they have really come under some duress here.
In the first quarter, it was the Swifts who were struggling just to find that passage down court. Now it's the Thunderbirds.
And what happens inside the circle is they can't miss at the moment, the Swifts. They're 19 from 21 attempts. The combined shooting performance being sensational. Now Beveridge has to go back, desperate for a goal.
Yeah, good rebound,
McCloma saying it's going to miss. Get up for the rebound. Eventually did.
It's Borrego that got it. I like Jane Woodlands-Thompson's instructions to Kate Beveridge. Just be smart about when you make your move. Sometimes when you're learning a position, you can try and do too much. Beveridge just picks a moment. She'll be effective.
A couple of turnovers in a row, but they're not filling me with a lot of confidence, Adelaide, when they have the ball mid-court. That pass from Gerard ended up being okay, but only just. Athletic take from Borrego was brilliant.
Obstruction. Sort of get the feeling because Borrego can grab the ball so beautifully, the Thunderbirds just need to take a little bit of a risk occasionally, stick it in there, let her fight for it. She's capable of doing it.
Again, pass goes back to Leighton. Now Bell forced to go back again to Leighton. The lob pass is on. That's a better one, exactly as you said, Liz. Take a risk. She seems good enough to take it wherever they put it, so a better play from the Thunderbirds.
Yeah, particularly when you're in the feeding position near the edge of the circle. When it's long, it's a bit more difficult, but close to the circle, it's just a smaller margin for error.
Gerard forced out with the penalty now, trying to work back as hard as she can defensively. Just a little bit of niggle going on there between Gerard and Prattley, and that rebound couldn't be taken by Mentor.
Yeah, beautiful split them from Prattley and Cox. Gave the feeding player a couple of options. one forward, one to the side. That's what you want from your shooting line. Oh, well done, Kim Smith. Just peeled off her player. Prattley. I think that was 15 possessions down the court.
A few party tricks, but she forgot about the main part in the end, which is you actually have to shoot it. And she missed. And that pass from Gerard hit Leighton in the face.
Well, the Swifts can't put the Thunderbirds away here, and for that, the Thunderbirds need to make them pay. They've got to just be a little bit more steady down court. Gerard is the player at the moment who probably just needs to steady her feet, start to deliver some safe ball.
Ali, you've been keeping a bit of an eye on the Thunderbirds' attack. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, look, it looks really congested bringing through the midcourt. I think Lizzie picked it up before. They're really struggling. Jane Woodland-Stopson's on the sideline telling the girls to think about it. And that's exactly what they need to do. Although sometimes if you think too much, you tend to hold the ball too long. So it's they need to just let the ball go at the moment.
Good confident shot there from Kate Beveridge. That'll help their cause if she can get herself into the game. Saw Jiva Mentor put her hand up before Liz and say, just take a deep breath, everyone. Don't need to try and force it down the court on every occasion as Cox gets goal number 11.
Well, Thunderbirds are capable of that beautiful fast breakdown court, but it's knowing when to put it on. So, you know, when you listen to Norma Plummer, she'll often talk about having players on the court who are mature enough to change up the speed of the game. That's what the Thunderbirds need at the moment.
And against Kim Green, not all that happy with it. Trying to go over the top to Borrego, which seems to be a good play. McCloma gave away the penalty. Smile from Carla Borrego. She's 14 from 15.
She's travelling along well. She's such a great target for them. Kim Green may have that take then put down as an intercept.
And a held ball call.
Oh, that's a really interesting call. Jiva Mentor, or Moni Gerard it is, pulled for contact after Kim Green had given up possession for holding the ball too long. You said before, Luke, there's a little bit of push and shove between Prattley and Gerard. Almost the player who gets on top of that level of emotion to start with is going to come out on top.
Yeah, a bit going on at the moment on court between both sides. So it was a call from the umpire. Prattley just a little rattled at the moment. She's missed a couple of gimmies. Now a chance for Adelaide. They need to be patient with this. Can't have a turnover. There's the misses. 7-3 to the Swifts. So they had some chances almost to put this game away.
Cox just checking that her foot was inside the line. Deciding to go to Prattley. Clever play from the captain, wanting to bring her shooting partner into the game, give her the chance to have a reasonably easy shot under the post, give her some confidence.
And she does just that.
Yeah, Moni Gerard probably carrying on a little bit too much then with that contest. One of the great qualities about Gerard is her ability to get into a contest, but cost her team possession that time.
Borrego forced to come out. Beveridge stayed at home and got the correct pass, and Beveridge gets her 5th goal of the afternoon. We're back to just a 3-goal game.
Great hands over pressure then from the Thunderbirds. Made it difficult for Green to find her options.
Pass was good though from Cox, and 1-2 back from Green.
Yeah, that's almost a set play between Cox and Green. Cox looks to go forward, fakes backwards. Green finds her under the post.
Halfway mark of the second quarter. Bully had a good look at that. This is their best go for mine if they can somehow manage to get Borrego enough opportunities. She's more than capable of getting them home.
Yeah, she repays a good feed generally with a shot, a successful shot.
Cox working outside the circle. The pass inaccurate. 2 hit the deck. One's Gerard, one's Cox, and Prattley was left standing all her own.
Yeah, nice little play there from the Swifts. Just a little bit of a bump and shove between Cox and Gerard. Good the umpire didn't blow a whistle, just let the contest go.
free-scoring, free-flowing game, this one at the moment. Goal for goal. It's a 3-goal margin.
Oh, good delivery where she had hands over from Leighton, but still found Cox at the top of the circle. That's the timing that the Swifts need.
Aaron Bell is a little undecided. Goes back to Gerard. It's a better loop on that pass to Bell. Beveridge has looked confident from this sort of range. That occasion missed.
Aaron Bell's having a much better second quarter. Had 3 turnovers in the first, none in the second. So
Opportunity now, Liz, to speak to Jane Woodlands, the coach of the Adelaide Thunderbirds. Jane, how are you seeing things from your vantage point?
Yeah, it's very tight. There's a lot going on out there. It's on, that's for sure. And yeah, I think it's just going to heat up from here.
Jane, are you after some of your senior players to maybe start to take a little bit of the sting out of things and just settle things down in attack?
I'm more after our defenders to have an impact on breaking up what Cox and Prattley are doing. I mean, they're on fire at the moment. We haven't done a lot to disrupt what they're doing. So I think the forwards are ticking along okay. We just need a bit of disruption in the back.
So what's going to be your main message then at half-time?
To move our feet and try and shut down some more space. We're letting them have free access to the circle across half forward, and that really has to stop.
Thank you, Jane. Side trails by 4 goals. Just over 4 minutes remaining in the second quarter as Kim Green missed shot while we're talking to Jane from Beveridge. And that penalty go against Monia Gerard, who's has a wry smile.
Well, not forgetting, of course, that there's a couple of ex-Swifts in this Thunderbirds line. Gerard is one of them. Bell is the other one. They'd love a good showing against their old club. I reckon Mentor a little unlucky then. I thought Cox set her up a little bit with the body on the hold. Mentor just trying to find a balance.
Swifts have been able to respond to any challenge. They've answered a little bit of a run with the last 3 goals. And we always speak about the last couple of minutes of any quarter. Long bomb to Borrego. Fantastic take.
Yeah, Borrego's the key. You can get her enough clean ball, she'll reward you, but that's the key, isn't it? Getting enough clean ball, particularly across that transverse line.
Ali, you've been keeping an eye on Vanessa Ware, someone we don't probably speak about enough.
Yeah, look, that's exactly right, and I think that's probably the way she likes it. At the moment, I think she's got the upper hand on Leighton, and Jane Woodlands mentioned how Cox and Prattley have been having a bit of a field day. I think it's to do with Vanessa Ware. She's finding some really nice space at the top of the circle. It's easy for her at the moment, and but Leighton needs to step it up a bit.
Thanks, Ali. Pass comes from Berto to Beveridge, back to Leighton, who Ali's just talking about. Keeping an eye on her that she really needs to step it up. Here is Aaron Bell. As mentioned, she's a former Swift against her old side, and she's just thrown that one away again. 4th turnover for Aaron Bell, which has proven to be quite costly for her side.
It's interesting, Vanessa Ware is also on 4 turnovers, but you just get the feeling from where she's just delivering some really nice ball to her Swift shooters. Julie Fitzgerald will probably not chew her ear off too much about coughing up the ball.
So a miss from Prattley, a couple of minutes remaining in the first half. Thunderbirds have it. And that's better movement. They can get it from one end to the other as quick as any side going around.
Yeah, Nat Von Berto then instrumental in that play. She's just so quick through the middle. That turn of speed, and her transition play from defence into attack is really unparalleled in this competition. She's so good at it.
Becca Bully chooses to go sideways to McCloma. Have you seen this matchup between Prattley and Monty Gerard as Prattley gets goal number 13, Liz?
It's been fiery more than anything else. I would have said at the start of this quarter that Gerard was just fighting away back on top. Then she probably took the contest a little too far, and it made Prattley smile, and that was interesting because it clearly relaxed her. So Prattley just starting to come back into the contest a little more now. And Cox playing a smart game in that regard, bringing Prattley into the match.
Well played from Mentor. Nice deflection, picked it up. And again, here's Von Berto just gliding down the court.
It's no surprise that during that play, Mentor came up with the ball. Bomberto took the main pass in the middle of the court and then was then down for the backup on the sideline. Just that quick change of direction and speed, so good. And so good bully. Well read.
Yeah, great intercept from Rebecca Bully again. Pass from Beveridge. Little telegraphed. Now with 26 seconds. Okay, Cox won't hesitate to shoot. She drains goal number 17 to become the leading scorer of the first half. Bomberto, clean possession.
Beautiful delivery from where Cox's positioning in the circle, so good at the moment. No doubt one of the things that Jane Woodlands-Thompson will say to Jiva Mentor at halftime is just to keep moving her feet. When Mentor moves her feet, makes it really difficult for Cox. It was interesting this week for Kath Cox to hear her say that Mentor is one of the tightest and toughest goalkeepers she's ever played against. So Mentor just needs to get on the move. Lovely second quarter then from the Swifts. They just started to build into the game nicely and started to extend their lead.
That quarter was all the New South Wales Swifts. They outscored Adelaide 16-8 to take an 8-goal lead at halftime.
Welcome back to the Sydney Olympic Park Sports Centre, where the Swifts enjoy an 8-goal lead over the Thunderbirds. And the Swifts may not be winning the on-court push and shove fight, but they're certainly up there in terms of the scoring, Luke.
Yes, they won that second quarter, Liz, 16 goals to 8. They doubled their score. As we said, the first quarter looked as though the Thunderbirds really had come with their A-grade game. Big job ahead for them as it sits at half-time. Opportunity now to take a look at our Holden Cruise Player of the Year leaderboard, Liz. It's a fantastic prize. The winner will receive their very own Holden Cruise, one of the great small cars. If you're in the market for any sort of car, you won't go past the Holden Cruise. And an unlikely leader at the moment, Claire McMenamin.
Yeah, she's been a bit of an unsung player for the Firebirds over the years. This year, though, she has really stepped up her game, and it's hard to go past her as one of the best defenders in the competition. She's being chased fairly hard, though, by the goal defence that we're watching for today for the Swifts, Rebecca Bully. A couple of Vixens in there, and another player out on court today, Carla Borrego, sitting right up there.
Jiva Mentor, we featured her in our pre-game feature story today. She's had her hands full with Catherine Cox this afternoon. Natalie Meadows, who's gone across to the Queensland Firebirds, and Catherine Cox, who has got 6 votes in this. And our friends at Holden are also good enough each week to give $1,000 to the junior club of our winner of the weekly award for the Holden Cruise Player of the Year. This week it was Catherine Cox from the Beecroft Netball Club, and that is our man Chris Brown from Holden and Kim Hosking from the Beecroft Netball Association. There's fantastic that our friends at Holden are able to do that on a weekly basis.
Certainly is. Now, if you're smart, you would have seen that cheque was for $750. The other $250 gets made up in safety equipment from Holden. So a great initiative from Holden and the Holden Cruise.
Liz Ellis will be delivering the Holden Cruise Player of the Year votes again today. And as it stands at half-time, it's been a very big half for the New South Wales Swifts. They lead by 8 goals. Big job ahead for the Thunderbirds. Welcome back to Sydney's Olympic Park precinct. We're at half-time here, and that is the scoreline. The New South Wales Swifts 31, an 8-goal lead over the Adelaide Thunderbirds. A bit more of a contest at quarter time, Liz. So a big job ahead for the Adelaide Thunderbirds. What particular part of the game do you think they would have focused on at half-time?
I guess, as Jane Woodlands-Thompson said just before half-time, they'll be focusing on cutting out that combination between Cox and Prattley, who are just so dangerous together. And it is a bit of a battle of the mid-court as well. They'll be looking to find just good feeding position at the top of the circle and better delivery into Borrego.
That delivery was one that was requiring a bit of skill to take, but Borrego's got plenty of that. And you made a very good point, Liz, halfway through the second quarter. You've got a gun up there in Borrego, maybe just try and get it to her on a few more occasions, and just eyeing off a little bit of a change there. So Leighton might have gone back to the goal defence to position, and Monty Drade out to wing defence. Ali Broadbent, she'll be all over that. Ali, is that the change at half-time?
I am all over it, Luke. The Swifts have had no changes, and Leighton, that's right, has gone to goal defence and Gerard's gone to wing D. I think it has something to do with the fact that Ware's getting a lot of ball and she's obviously wanting to change it up in that circle.
Borrego has to go. The miracle shot. She nearly pulled it off as she was falling out of court, but well played from Beveridge, came through. They really need to get some score on the board, put some pressure on Beveridge, not prepared to put that one up.
They certainly do, and it's good to see the Thunderbirds attacking players transitioning so quickly into defence. Beveridge saw the parallel pass from Green and had to pounce at it.
It's a miss from Borrego, but the penalty went against Macloma. So Borrego certainly been holding up her end of the bargain. She's delivered every time they've got it to her. Pratley pushing out wide.
It'll be interesting just to see how this defensive change-up affects the Thunderbirds. Jiva Mentor looks so comfortable with Moni Gerard out in front of her. She'll have to take the senior role now in the circle. She's got the younger Leighton in there with her.
Worked beautifully then. Centre pass received. They've got it to Borrego. And misses one.
Rebecca Bullock coming up with her third rebound. She's having a fine game. We seem to say that every week about Rebecca Bully, but she's in stellar form at the moment.
There's the shooting percentages at the bottom of the screen. Thunderbirds going 76%. Around 80% the Swifts, and they've made them pay again.
Wing defence, contact.
It'll be interesting to see also just how much more space Pratley finds playing against Leighton than playing against Gerard. I sort of get the feeling that Pratley finds playing against Gerard uncomfortable. She just never looks like she's really in the game against her. The last couple of minutes, though, Pratley's starting to look good.
Karen Bell, former Swift, Beveridge. Worked it back. Thunderbirds have won their last 4 games, and that is just asking too much of Borrego. Throw it out of court, there's not much you can do.
See Nat Bomberto up at the edge of the circle. It's what I'm talking about with her. She just wants to be everywhere in defence, and then she can just turn that around so quickly into attack.
Got it out to a pretty comfortable 10-goal margin here, early stages. As Pratley hits the deck, Leighton gave away a clear penalty.
You also wonder if Jane Woodlands-Thompson has made the change with Leighton and Gerard just to take a little bit of the sting out of that contest. Gerard had given away 9 penalties up until half-time and was the most penalised player on court along with Sonia Macloma. So maybe she's just trying to take some of the emotion out of the contest.
Contact, wing defence.
And Gerard, penalty number 12, more than anyone on the court. Looking like a blowout now with margin up from 8 goals at half-time, already out to 12. Kim Green hit the floorboards pretty hard on that occasion, but she's up and about and okay.
Saw the contact penalties there between Thunderbirds and the Swifts. Thunderbirds sitting at 30, the Swifts at just 18. Sort of expect to see that with the Thunderbirds. They do play quite a brutal defensive game that is so effective, but you are going to give away penalties when you do that. Interestingly now, they look to have gone to a zone style of defence off the centre pass. Oh, well done Cox, and well done Gerard. Pressured for the throw-in.
Trying to get an understanding. Clearly as though Gerard had flicked that one out of court.
Yeah, it looked like it, but then you don't know if Vanessa Ware just got a hand to it as it went. Gerard will take it though. She hasn't had a lot go her way today, so no wonder she had a little smile on her face.
And they need a lot going their way now. They lead by 11 goals and 2 regularly turning it over.
Oh, well done, Beveridge. She's proving to be a little bit of a thorn in the Swift side as they try and transition the ball into the mid-court.
We get a couple of little deflections, but not enough to affect the turnover. So they've increased their defensive pressure. You can see Mentor coming out. Not sure what Catherine Cox was thinking there. Sort of straight at Anya Gerard. They'll accept that.
Maybe she's remembering the good old days when they were teammates. Brago going down. I wonder if the Thunderbirds just have in mind the Swifts' third quarter from last week against the Vixens, where they really just dropped their intensity levels, and Vixens won that quarter by 7 goals, and it brought them straight back into the game. Set us up for a brilliant last quarter between the two teams.
So since this is their chance to get some momentum and really put some pressure on. They trailed by 10. That pass from Bell was awful. Luckily, couldn't be taken by McClymont.
Well done, Bully. Read it beautifully. I was about to say McClymont was way out of play, getting her hands up over Nat Bomberto, but a nice little set defensive play there from the Swifts brings them some possession.
Ali, we're talking about the passes coming into the attacking end for the Thunderbirds not being great, but maybe not paying enough credit to the defence of the Swifts.
I truly believe that. The pressure that the Swifts are placing on the Thunderbirds attack line is immense at the moment, and every pass they're throwing is under pressure. They just can't seem to find their player, and it's having their cost, and obviously the Swifts are coming up with the ball.
They come up with it again, as you just saw Rebecca Bully in there, and now really open inside the circle for Catherine Cox, and she's just clearly incredibly confident with everything that's going on in her game at the moment. That's 23 from 26. Last week she shot 29 from 31. Slow start to the year, but she's absolutely on fire at the moment.
She is, and here's another player who's on fire, is Rebecca Bully. Ali Broadbent talked about the defensive pressure from the Swifts. Not only has she got 2 intercepts, 3 rebounds and 5 possession games, she's not given away that many penalties. She's incredibly efficient for the Swifts. Another stat that doesn't come up there is the amount of centre pass receives that she has, which is 4. So she's also doing a wealth of work for the Swifts through that backcourt.
Natalie Bomberto there calling the injury timeout as side trails by 13 goals. They would have come into today with some big expectations. Quarter time, they were right in it. They just trailed by 2. And since then, the Swifts have scored 16 of the last 22 goals in this game. And I'm sure they're having a little bit of a discussion now, saying we either get ourselves back into this or it's going to be a blowout.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? The game in round 2, the Swifts got up by 7, and I thought back then the Thunderbirds were still trying to build their line, still trying to figure out who belonged where, and particularly with a player like Kate Beveridge getting her used to goal attack, and she really struggled in that match. Now Beveridge has started to come into this combination, and up until now has been playing particularly well. The Thunderbirds have made a couple of changes, and coming into today's game, Luke, I actually thought that the Thunderbirds were a real chance of getting up. Surprisingly, though, they've just lacked a little bit of cohesion through that mid-court. Nat Bomberto's trying to work overtime, but she needs some support from her defenders in particular, bringing the ball down court.
Keeping an eye there on the coaching staff for the Adelaide Thunderbirds. Ali Broadbent is a bit closer than us. Ali, you predicting some changes there?
Yeah, actually making a big change. Emily Beaton's coming on at centre, and Nat Bomberto's gone to the bench. They've also changed Leighton to wing defence and Gerard to goal defence, which I think fits much better.
A big move, isn't it, to have last year's Holden Cruise Player of the Year winner, Natalie Bomberto. Probably one of the few walk-up starts in the Australian side, Liz, and she's having a spell. Maybe there is some injury concerns.
Yeah, that surprises me, because it certainly isn't form. She's been doing a wealth of work for the Thunderbirds through the mid-court. Just her transition play is so good.
So what's happening here? The umpire trying to get beaten off, and well,
yeah.
Jane Williams is sending it back on. Ali, what's happening?
Actually, it was a tactical move. They basically want Beaton to go to wing attack and Bell to go to goal attack, and at the moment, Nat Bomberto's come onto centre. The only way they could make the change was to take Nat Bomberto off, I think, because she was the one that caught time and was injured. It's just the rule of the game, so I think Beaton has to wait now until the next centre pass to come on.
So they play down at the moment?
They're a play down. Thunderbirds without a wing attack. This makes more sense to me, though, in terms of the lineup. So the rule is that the player who calls time must be involved in the change. Nat Bomberto, the one to call time.
So she had to come off.
She had to come off, I think, because that may have been Thunderbird's second timeout for the quarter. So with the new timeout rules, Ali Broadbent shaking her head at me, maybe telling me I don't know the rule.
think it was their first time out. So we've got a little bit of confusion here. But anyway, they're back to 7 on the court. Emily Beaton is on. And as I said, we're a bit shocked that here is Beaton now, trying to force it through to Bell. Picked up by Von Berto. A bit staggered when Natalie Von Berto went off. Clymer comes up the big end and said, Ali, can you clear up some of our confusion over here?
I can clear it out. Nat Von Berto called time. She had to be in the change. They wanted her to stay at centre. So to get her to stay at centre, Emily Beaton came on at centre. Obviously, they wanted to bring Emily Beaton on a wing attack and Bell on a goal attack, but they couldn't make that change without actually getting Beaton on the court in the first place. So that's how Nat Von Berto came to off the court and basically found herself without down a player for a little while. Did that make sense or not make sense at all?
I know that I am more confused, but that shouldn't surprise anyone. What has happened?
You don't understand me, Luke?
No, it's just me. It's not a reflection on you. It's a 14-goal margin here to the New South Wales Swifts. But all we know is that Emily Beaton is on, so I'm with us now, Liz. But injury timeout rule, I've had my thoughts on that before. Pass across the circle, looking for Nat Von Berto. Big margin now. Thunderbirds, they've decided to make a few changes, see if they can spark something in this game.
We've talked a lot in this game about Rebecca Bully and how effective she is at goal defence. Sonia McCloma has pretty much won every battle she's had with some of the top goal shooters in this league for the Swifts. So players like Caitlin Bassett, Caitlin Thwaites, Borrego, Romelda Aitken. Sonia McCloma is just notching those names up.
Ooh, heavy collision there between Gerard and Green. They're both going to get up okay.
And in all the talk about the other changes, we've missed Gerard and Leighton swapping back over. So Gerard finds herself back into the circle. I'm not surprised if it takes the Thunderbirds a little while to just settle into this combination. Every time you make a change, it takes a few minutes to settle in.
As Gerard goes back to mentor Von Berto. 4-game winning streak. At the moment, looks as though it's going to come to an end for the Thunderbirds. In the last 4 weeks, they've beaten Brisbane in Brisbane. They beat the Steel in Adelaide. They beat the Pulse, and then they beat the West Coast Fever before having a bye last week. So maybe the week off has taken a bit of their momentum away from them, because we're really expecting this to be a very close game. And as it sits at the moment, they are getting absolutely cleaned up comfortably, Liz.
Yeah, we did think it was going to be a lot closer, particularly with the Thunderbirds' last match against Fever in Perth. Came off the back of a big travel week to New Zealand for them, and they just looked in absolutely ominous form. That form, though, has deserted them today. They're up against the red-hot Swifts, who are coming off a big win last week against the Vixens.
Again, forced to go backwards, but a little more patient on this build-up. Leighton through to Beaton. Pass again goes astray. So Julie Fitzgerald, who we spoke to at quarter time, and she was feeling a little nervous at the moment now. Julie, it's a 14-goal lead. Your side is playing fantastically well.
Yeah, they are playing well. I think we got a little bit ragged in the middle of this quarter, but I think they're settling again now.
Julie, are you pleased with the intensity that your team has shown all the way through this match so far?
I will be. I do want to see it continue for the fourth quarter, but I'm very pleased with how they've played until this point, and I'm pleased with the discipline and control that they've shown. All
right, you've got 2 minutes to the fourth quarter. Sam May is your only player on your bench who hasn't had some court time yet. Are we going to see it?
I don't know yet, Liz. We'll wait and see.
Nice answer, Julie. Appreciate that. As we just see Kath Cox come through, it's been a very physical contest, this one. It's been some hefty collisions.
Certainly has. It's great to see Kath Cox, though, there with just eyes for the ball. You want to see your players determined to take it. Sometimes those calls don't come from the umpire. You've got to wear the body. Cox doing that beautifully. Borrego.
Look at her face.
Tells it all.
A little smile from McClymont might tell the exact same story. Bully hesitates, and that was a pass under pressure. absolutely everything going right today for the New South Wales Swifts. They're shooting perfectly, although that occasion turnover has been a big issue. The Thunderbirds have turned it over on 19 occasions. The Swifts, who are the side that turns it over less than anyone else in the competition, and they're of course undefeated. They've continued that brilliant form today.
It's a remarkable turnaround from last year, where they only won 2 games for the entire year. At this stage last year, they'd already won those 2 games, so they had loss after loss after loss all the way home. Interesting today to hear Kim Green just talk about confidence. You know, when we talk about the difference, I tend to pinpoint Sonia McCloma from a technical point of view, but great to hear the Swifts team talk about confidence, and it's just those early wins that have got them that level of confidence and belief in each other.
Speaking of confidence, just doesn't hesitate, doesn't look as though she will miss from anywhere. That's goal number 27, 31. And as we said at the start of this game, if she continues to shoot like that and Prattley keeps her form going, it's hard to see anyone beating New South Wales Swifts. So the 3/4 time lose, margin extended out to 16 goals.
It certainly is everything going right for the Swifts. The Thunderbirds are forced to make a number of changes to try and get momentum going in that 3rd quarter. They're down by 16. They're going to need a massive last quarter. They're going to eat into this particularly big margin to start to challenge the Swifts. At 3/4 time, Swifts are 46, Thunderbirds are 30. Welcome back to Sydney Olympic Park, where the Swifts have a 16-goal lead at 3/4 time. The Thunderbirds just having 30 goals in 3 quarters of netball. We'll have a look at the match stats. Swifts shooting sitting pretty nicely at 81%. The Thunderbirds have dropped slightly, particularly through that 3rd quarter. Great defensive work from both teams. Really high levels of intercepts. Contact penalties, some problems there for the Thunderbirds, but the Swifts have crept up in that lot of penalties as well. But the big difference is the turnovers. Thunderbirds have coughed up the ball 19 times to the Swifts 10. That is a massive difference, Luke.
It is indeed. There was Carla Borrego on screen. At the other end, Juva Mentor, who had a tough afternoon trying to hold Kath Cox, who was in fantastic form.
Yeah, and she hasn't done too badly, actually, picking up 3 intercepts and 3 rebounds. She has a number of possession gains for her team in the positive. So, as you said, Luke, she's got a work cut out, but she's actually travelling pretty nicely.
At half-time, the New South Wales Swifts led by 8 goals. They blew that out by another 8 goals to 16. So, real opportunity for them. They've got a great percentage. They're undefeated. And as you said, maybe it's a chance to give some court time to some players that haven't had much experience. I'm sure they'd like a little bit more of a lead first and then a chance to do that.
But on Rebecca Bully, eyes for the ball. She is being an absolute menace down that end at the moment. Every time the ball is up in the air, she's contesting it.
Smith, Vanessa Ware combined. Speak so much about a lot of other players. Not so much those two, Liz, but they are very solid. They don't make mistakes and they just consistently play well.
They certainly do, and that pass then was just a great example of Vanessa Ware's level of skill. Attempting to lift it up and put it in the air. Had she done that, Mentor would have got her hands to it. She was watching it. It was just a beautifully flat feed into Prattley.
Ali Broadbent.
Yeah, look, I was listening to Julie talk to the girls. She really wants the girls to close this game out, and there is talk about some changes, but she really wanted this top 7 to finish the game and keep it controlled and disciplined, and that's pretty much what she wants, and keep contesting in defence.
Thanks, Sally. It's exactly what they're doing. They're doing it consistently well. Leighton came up with good play on that occasion.
Yeah, Shani Leighton is doing particularly well today in a losing team. She just struggled early against Vanessa Ware. It's hard for a player who towers, a wing defence in particular, who towers over a little nippy wing attack, but she's done well.
A sort of look-away pass there. Aaron Bell, who's moved out of wing attack into the goal attack position.
Yeah, she went across to the Thunderbirds as another option in that goal attack position for them. played all the junior netball in New South Wales, but she's an incredibly fit player, has worked hard on her game. It's good to see her getting some game time with the Thunderbirds. And I spoke to her last week and she was pretty happy to be playing at wing attack. She doesn't care where she plays as long as she's on the court, which is a pretty good attitude.
Clean movement, clean hands until then, and then Bully came through again and just sat up beautifully for it. Pratley converts goal number 21.
Well read, Rebecca Bully. Diva Mentor putting the ball in the air to allow Nat Von Berto to run onto it and gain some valuable metres, but Bully read it.
Ball comes back again now to Rebecca Bully, finds Pratley. Really had too many issues today, haven't they, the Swifts? It's, you know, very consistent and even performance right across, and that is another part that it will make their coach and all the people that follow their side so excited about Catherine Cox, and her form at the moment is just going so well.
Yeah, Kath Cox is playing well, but the beauty of these two is that they share between Cox and Pratley the goaling duties so well. Cox has had 30 goals today from 35 attempts. Pratley's had 21 from 28. That just means that there's not a real dominant shooter. You would expect for that to be Cox, but Pratley can be the top scorer on the game in a game on her day.
Nice ball on another occasion to Borrego. Just watching Cox, she put one up from, it was almost 3-point territory then. She's never obviously too concerned about stats. If you were, you wouldn't take shots like that. Just puts them up. Okay, if I'm here, I'll have a go. And occasionally she can miss a few, but when she gets on fire, it's almost impossible to stop.
Certainly is, and one of the great things about Cox is that she will continue to go to the post, even when she's not shooting well. Interesting thing is she actually doesn't look at the scoreboard, so she would not have much of an idea of the margin at the moment.
That is contact centre.
It's up to 18 goals. I'm sure she's feeling pretty comfortable about the way her side's going. Again, the pass inside the circle at the other end goes astray.
Thunderbirds just struggled then. None of their ball controllers just had control of their feet more than anything else. There's a number of passes thrown, they're off balance. Makes it hard just to steady the ship.
Was keeping an eye as Pratley comes up with the rebound, little hesitation, and then scores goal number 22. Swifts are up to 52, margin out to 19. Always keeping an eye, of course, to the Commonwealth Games in Delhi in October, and the Australian side, there's so much competition for spots everywhere on the court. If you had to pick an Australian side now inside the shooting circle, who would you go with?
Why don't you ask me an easy question?
Have a go, Liz.
Well, I think it's hard to go past Kath Cox in that goal shooting position. I assume the
who's in contention? Who's going close behind her?
Well, it's a tough little thing. It depends really on what Norma Plummer wants to do, whether she wants just to have the one tall shooter and a number of the shorter, faster players like a McMahon and a Pratley and a Medhurst. Then you just balance it out with a taller player like Kath Cox, or whether Norma Plummer wants a couple of talls in Cox and maybe Caitlin Bassett or a Kate Beveridge or a Caitlin Thwaites, and then a couple of shorter goal attacks. That would be the usual thing that you go for. So 2 tall goal shooters, 2 shorter goal attacks. I mean, a couple of disappointed players in those positions. I haven't really answered your question.
No, we'll get you off the fence at some stage and have a go as the Swifts again just move it down to Catherine Cox. So I'm suggesting that you're saying Catherine Cox will start at goal shooter.
And you can't go past Sherelle McMahon at goal attack. She's captain of the Diamonds. He's playing beautifully. Was one of the best players for the Vixens last week in a losing side. So it's just that next, probably just the next tier down, or the next couple of players fighting for the last 2 positions.
Ali Broadbent, margin out to 21 goals. Temptation now, do you think, to put some players on the court for the New South Wales Swifts?
Yeah, my spies are out, and the Swifts bench has just got up and are doing a warm-up. So I wouldn't be surprised if someone calls time here, and we may see some changes.
Thanks, Ali. Pass in from Kim Green, Kath Cox, and it's just a procession at the moment.
Sonia McClamer calling time. The umpire saying what for. If she told the truth, it would be to get a couple of other players on court.
It makes me laugh. Why ask what for then? Does it matter? What if she said it was?
What if she
Because
told
I felt like it. What would she have said, Liz?
Oh, maybe no.
Yeah, maybe no. But so, as Ali Broadbent pointed out, chance now for some of the bench players for the Swifts to get a run. They lead by 21 goals. We're down to under 7 minutes remaining in this match, and it has been an incredible performance by the undefeated side, and good chance to see some of the new faces coming through.
Yeah, look, the one change that looks to be made, and I'm stealing Ali Broadbent's thunder here, is Sam May. And it was interesting. I was at a seminar last week listening to Julie Fitzgerald talk, and she made the comment that she was desperate to get young Sam May onto the court. She's worked hard in her fitness, dropped a heap of weight over the off-season, and is a supremely talented young defensive player. Her problem is that she sits behind two of the better performed defenders in the league, but she's getting a chance now. Just keep your eye on her. Really athletic, strong player.
So just the one change, might have moved a few more around, but obviously keen to make the most of this massive win.
And I guess most coaches will have one eye on that all-important percentage. We've seen over the last couple of seasons of the ANZ Championship that the percentage often determine the top four. So it's great to get your 2-point wins. Not great if you're not scoring a lot of goals.
So Ali, just the one change?
Yeah, look, only the one change, and Lizzie stole my thunder, but that's okay. It was interesting to note as well that in the round 2 clash that they had, the Thunderbirds only scored 38 goals, so they're sitting at 36 at the moment, so we'll see how they go with that.
Yeah, eyeing off a record low score again here in the match, and you can see the clock now just ticks down to 7 minutes remaining in the game. Look at that stat there, the difference in goal attempts. The Swifts 71, Thunderbirds 49, so it has been an absolute smashing here today.
Certainly has. Just the volume speaks volumes. Swifts just getting that huge volume of shots just through a really efficient mid-court. Kim Green, so strong and powerful through the middle. How's this for a stat? Centre court player in Kim Green handles the ball so often in the game, not a single turnover against her name so far today. So an impressive performance from her. She's been in absolutely everything yet, just so efficient with her ball handling.
Brilliant performance. Keep an eye on your votes in the Holden Cruise Player of the Year after the game. It'll be a tough ask for you today. So many good players, all of them wearing red. And last week she only had the 2 turnovers as well, Kim Green. So big day for her to maybe take the colours over the Australian centre and Natalie Bomberto.
Yes.
Borrego decides to dish this one off to Bell. Borrego started the game in incredible fashion at quarter time. Adelaide just trailed by 2 goals, and they led for virtually all of the first quarter.
It was a great start from the Thunderbirds, and before the game we spoke about who might win, and we both felt that today was going to be the Thunderbirds' day, and it looked like that in the first 15 minutes of this game. The credit of the Swifts, though, they didn't panic. They just kept building, kept doing the little things well, and that's important when you're just trying to work your way into a match.
Jane Willens has been good enough to join us. I'm sure not always easy when your side has a disappointing day. They trailed by 19 goals. Jane, can you put a bit of a handle on what's gone wrong today?
Oh, it's where do we start? Nothing much has gone right. Look, the Swifts have been awesome, and this is why they are the top team. And we've really struggled in all areas. Our senior players have not fired at all. Our defence has been thrashed, and the shooting circle just hasn't given us enough potency. And the disappointing thing for us is that we haven't really trusted each other just to let it go. So, yeah, lots of work to do.
Jane, is it hard to get your team to keep their heads up during a game like this?
Yeah, it is. You know, it's really up to them out there to self-generate, and they did try really hard at every break to find something, and you know, it sort of lasted for a couple of minutes and then dropped off. So, yeah, it's really up to the senior players to lift the other kids in the team and try and generate something, but we just, yeah, have fallen way short today.
Do you think having the bye has had anything to do with it? Do you think the girls maybe have struggled to come back after having a week off and maybe lost some momentum?
Could be a bit of that. I think it's multifactorial. I think it's losing our momentum. It's getting out of our routine. It's coming to Sydney where there's a lot of distractions for a lot of our players, and we've just lost our training effect in a week. Our timing's been awful.
Thank you, Jane. Really appreciate. Not easy when your side is having an ordinary day. Thank you to both coaches great feature of our coverage to be able to go down and actually get the inside word on what's happening from the people who know all about it. And good enough there, Jane Woodlands-Thompson, to join us. Looking ahead for the Adelaide Thunderbirds, they have got 3 home games after this, but the Vixens, the Firebirds and the Tactics will all take them on in Adelaide, so there are no easy games in this competition.
No, there isn't. But the good news is for Adelaide is that the first 3 of those matches are in Adelaide, and they do play well in front of their home crowd. Adelaide's a tough place to play in for an away team. The crowd let you know that they know their netball. They're really into their team, so it's a good thing for the Thunderbirds.
Here are the matches to come. As we see, turnover and then turn straight back over by Nat Bomberto. Firebirds in Sydney next week, and they have the West Coast Fever over in Perth, and they've got an away trip to Auckland to take on the Mystics, and then a big game against the Magic. So they are undefeated. They will remain undefeated heading in to round 9 next week. So we're under 3 minutes in this game. Erin Bell, former Swift, she's been moved into the goal attack position, started at wing attack. Probably not a game that she's going to want to remember in a real hurry.
No, it's not easy to come and play against your own team, and probably in front of a lot of her family. So she's building, though, with every game, getting a little bit better, slotting into this lineup. So she'll take a lot out of this match, and she'll take a lot of confidence being left on for the full game as well.
A little opportunity to score for her, and she delivers that one. Back to 16 goals, which is our margin at 3/4 time. Beth Cox, goal number 34, 42 attempts from her. Glimpse at the athleticism there of Borrego, who scored her 28th goal this afternoon and hasn't had it easy. McClymber has done a very good job defensively. As you mentioned, Liz, McClymber has towed up everyone who's come her way today. And would you give her the points today ahead of Borrego?
Oh, yeah, I would actually. Yeah. I mean, Carla Borrego's probably been a little bit hindered by the fact that she hasn't had clean ball delivered to her. She's done everything asked of her. McClymber, though, just so good for the Swifts in that back line. And having McClymber there really allows Bully and Smith to just do their job. I thought last year they spent a lot of time worrying about what whoever was playing goalkeeper was doing, and the Swifts experimented with that position all year. Having McClymber there just gives them the luxury of an international goalkeeper, and a world-class goalkeeper at that.
Thunderbirds made the grand final last year, lost it to the Melbourne Vixens. They lost Natalie Medhurst to the Firebirds. Liz, is that something that they would be regretting at the moment for the balance of their side?
Yeah, I think so. Kate Beveridge is so effective when she sits back in that goal shooter position. So, but they did recruit well. Recruiting Borrego has been a huge boost for them. She's proven to be a bit of a risk at the start, but has proven to be a brilliant pickup for them. So I think, you know, their coach, Jane Woodlands-Thompson, put a finger on it a little bit. You can't just point the finger of blame at that front line. Defensively as well, Thunderbirds haven't been able to stop the Swifts' shooting combination of Cox and Pratley. So a little bit of work all over the court for the Thunderbirds to do. It's good, though, to see them fighting through this last quarter, scoring their 13th goal. So they've gone hard all game.
And they finished with a couple of goals to finish the game. Erin Bell got some shooting practice, 7 from 10. And the final margin is the same as it was at 3/4 time. It's a 16-goal win to the New South Wales Swifts. It's a big statement to the rest of the competition that they remain undefeated, and they will be very hard to beat anywhere in Australia or New Zealand.
They certainly will. And putting 60 goals on the Thunderbirds, that is a record for the Swifts against the Thunderbirds. But it also says a huge amount about their front line, because we always talk about how solid and good the Thunderbirds' defensive line is. They're so miserly. They've had the least amount of goals scored against them in the competition. So to come out and put 60 goals on that defensive line for the Swifts is a huge boost for them.
Smiles all round Susan Pratley, New South Wales Swifts. We certainly expecting to come here, and a close game started that way, and at quarter time it was just in 2 goals in the favour of the New South Wales Swifts, but from then on they dominated everywhere on the court. You could name any one of their 7 players. They all played sensationally well, as they have done right throughout the whole season. Ali Broadbent is with one of the players of the year so far, Rebecca Woolley.
I am, in fact, great. When back, you're playing some great netball.
Oh, thanks, Ali. Really pleased with our effort tonight. It was a really tough encounter, so really pleased to get the win.
Look, the one-on-one defence right down the court, obviously that's something you're working on in training.
Oh, look, it was fantastic tonight. I think the attack end got some really good turnovers. Sometimes the ball didn't even get down, which was credit to them, and then they finished it off as well.
One of the things we're talking about at the commentary is your low turnover rate. Obviously, you're pleased with that and working on that as well?
Oh, I think you can always improve on your turnovers, but we're doing a good job. We've just been working really hard. Our intensity's been really good at training, so hopefully we can keep improving.
Next week, you've got the Thunderbirds at home. How are you shaping up for that one?
Oh, look, that's going to be another tough game. They're in really good form at the moment. It's going to be tough to shut down Romelda and Nat Metis, but I think we're confident at the moment, looking good, and hopefully we can get an awesome crowd again to come down and support us. It'd be a big help.
Great, well, all the best.
Thanks a lot, and happy Mother's Day, Mum.
It is Mother's Day. Nice work, Rebecca Woolley. And we were speaking about the turnovers. They average 15 turnovers a game, which is the least in the competition, only 16 again today. Natalie Von Berto has been good enough to join Ali Broadbent.
Nat, disappointing result?
Yeah, absolutely. To lose by 16 goals is something that we definitely didn't think was going to happen today. So we've got to go home and have a real hard look at ourselves, because we didn't put out, all the set things that we say that we do each week.
What were some of the set things that you thought would happen in the game and just didn't happen for you?
Yeah, or any of our defensive setups, we weren't setting them properly. Our attack down court was a bit slow. All those sorts of things that, unfortunately, I guess the Swifts were a way better team than us today, and they stopped us from doing that.
Yeah, it did look very hesitant in attack, and it's obviously something. You've got a whole new line that's just gelling, and you just sort of got that 7. It was good to see that you made some changes. I don't know what was happening in that third quarter, but, it worked. You came back on the court.
Yeah, that's right. We had a little bit of a mix-up there, so I just had to come off for a second. But, I think the girls that came on tried their hardest, but not a good enough effort from us today.
You've got the Vixens at home next week. What do you think you have to do to get on top of them?
Oh, I think it's just confidence in ourselves. As you said before, we were hesitant down in our attack line, and as soon as we play like that, we don't win. So that's something that we're going to be working on this week.
All the best.
Thank you very much.
Doesn't get any easier now for the Adelaide Thunderbirds. Natalie Von Berto saying they host the Melbourne Vixens next Sunday. It's going to be a magnificent game Sunday afternoon netball. Liz, you and I will both be there. They will need to reverse this performance very, very quickly, otherwise they'll get blown away again.
They certainly will, and Vixen's coming off a couple of losses, a couple of heavy losses in the last few weeks. They've also been, I guess, victims of this Swifts juggernaut. So the Vixens take on the Fever tomorrow night, and that's their first opportunity just to right the ship a little bit. So both teams may be looking for a little bit of redemption next Sunday, adds a little bit of spice to that match.
Got to get to a break now. We've got a lot more to come. Stick around. Liz Ellis's votes in the Holden Cruise Player of the Year and much, much more. We'll be back very shortly.
Well, we saw a package earlier, or a lovely interview with Jiva Mentor earlier, and she said when she grows up, she wants to be a fireman. Plenty of fires for her team today. She was one of the best players in a losing team in the Thunderbirds. The Swifts got up at Sydney Olympic Park Sports Centre 60-44, a result that very few people, I think, would have predicted, Luke.
When she grows up, she can be anything she likes, I think. But today they just couldn't compete up until quarter time. They were in the game, but that margin, 16 goals, certainly wasn't predicted by anyone in our vicinity. Your good friend Kath Cox, she's just shooting perfectly at the moment. Combination working well everywhere for the Swifts.
Certainly is. You can just see the Swifts shooting percentages just drop down towards the end. The Thunderbirds started off beautifully in that percentage area, but dropped down just after half time. Lots of intercepts for both teams. That means that there was plenty of defensive work and both ends working overtime there. Plenty of rebounds for both. Great to see just that neither team giving away too many penalties. Not a lot of whistle in today's game, but the area that hurt the Thunderbirds today was just that turnover ball. They just coughed possession up a little bit too much.
We're going to take a look at some highlights. They're going to feature mainly the team in the red, the New South Wales Swifts. Caleb Brago got them into a position in the start where we thought we were going to have a competitive game, but from that moment on, the 7 players on the court for the Swifts all dominated.
Yeah, and it was an 8-point margin in that second quarter that set up the win for the Swifts. Swifts just 2 goals ahead at quarter time. Thunderbirds right in the match. Some really impressive defensive work from the Swifts though through the mid-court. Started to see the Thunderbirds turn over possession, and it was just finished off beautifully by Prattley and Cox. A little bit of push and shove between a couple of players on court. Nat Von Berto coming up trumps there against Kim Green, but I think there'll be a couple of very sore bodies in both teams tomorrow, and it's great to see girls putting their bodies on the line.
Incredible performance for the Swifts to be undefeated after 8 rounds in this competition. Thunderbirds' 4-game winning streak comes to an end in an abrupt halt with a 16-goal loss today. The Holden Cruise Player of the Year. Your job, Liz, to come up with the votes, and I'm thinking that they are going to feature everyone from the New South Wales Swifts.
They certainly are. Nat Von Berto was looking good early, but just got overrun by the Swifts, and I thought Kimberly Green actually won that battle, so she gets 2 votes. Kath Cox with 34 goals today gets 1, and Rebecca Bully, another outstanding game for her. We're running out of superlatives to describe Rebecca Bully. 7 possession games, only 10 penalties, 3 intercepts, 4 rebounds. She's proving to be a superstar of the Swifts lineup this year.
Great story it is, Rebecca Bully, and I think that might even put her in the front. I'm not sure if we can check the leaderboard, but she's certainly well up there, and she may well go on to win the Holden Cruise, this magnificent small car, enormous amount of legroom. It's got fantastic sound, it's got great features. If you are even thinking about a car anywhere, any shape, any size, the Holden Cruise, don't go anywhere apart from the Holden Cruise, Liz. Rebecca Bully, no wonder she's smiling.
Certainly is, and she's just playing beautifully. She's got a great goalkeeper behind her in Sonia McCloma. That allows her to go out hunting for the ball. She comes up with plenty of possession, and the Hastings Valley Netball Association will say thank you very much, and they'll take the grand from Holden.
They will indeed. She's been contributing nicely to the Hastings Valley Netball Association. We had our friends from Holden this afternoon presenting a cheque to the Beecroft Netball Club, where Catherine Cox is from. Big afternoon today. Really stunned a little bit by the result, Liv. We were expecting a close one, turned into a blowout.
Certainly I said this before the game we were talking about who would win, who wouldn't win. I thought the Thunderbirds would get home in a thriller, and if the Swifts won, it would be close. Nobody predicted a 16-goal blowout. Unbelievable performance from the Swifts.
Very happy Mother's Day for the girls from the New South Wales Swifts. The final margin, 16 goals. The Swifts 60, the Adelaide Thunderbirds 44.
Feel the shot.